All right. Good morning, Panther fans. Two nice points last night for the Panthers. My apologies that I did not get the recap up last night. Colin and I did a 7-hour stream. We did the football game, the Panther game, the football game, all combined. So it's early. It's cold in this basement, so that's why I don't have the jersey on. I got the nice sweatshirt on. It's about 23 degrees and windy outside. But it was nice and juicy and warm inside the building last night with the Vamos Gatos. Those jerseys. Boy, and apparently, I forget who it was, my apologies, but somebody came on the stream at the end and said, I guess the jerseys were for sale after the game, and he actually got the Forsling Vamos Gatos jersey. So I expect that to be, we'll just drape that on the wall over here as soon as it arrives in the mail, all right? Appreciate that. Hey, I resell. I understand markup. What do you need? What do you need out of it, right? Stu will buy it. Stu would want that, actually, because Forsling's his guy. So if you're interested, you know where to find me. Sell it to me, and I'll mark it up again and sell it back to Stu. So, all right. Last night, again, we're streaming. And somebody came on, I think it was Rosado. Yeah, Rosado told me after the game that somehow Bubba didn't get one of the stars of the game. And normally I don't make a big deal out of that because normally I don't see it because I'm in here recording the recap. But I guess Ekblad, Stahl, and a Vancouver player got 3 stars of the game. What game were they watching? I mean, Ekblad was fine. He had a goal. He looked good. But how does Bob not get the #1 star of the game, let alone get any star? I don't know what was somebody watching something different. Now I realized the couple of goals that he gave up weren't spectacular, but there was about a dozen, 10, 6, 8, 12. How many spectacular saves, especially kicking out that leg, did he make to keep the game from being blown and being tied? We cannot hold a lead. I mean, we did hold a lead, barely held that lead. We go into the third period, we've got the 2-goal lead, and we just stopped skating. We just shut it down. And a lot of talk on the stream about that. And this is where you have to look at Maurice for this. Because how many of the same players that we have from last year, right? I mean, I know there's been some changeover, but it's not been ridiculous. These guys are not playing the same way in the third period, anywhere remotely close to what they played last year, and I believe it's on purpose. I believe Maurice is like, okay, it's 2006, we've got a 2-goal lead, and we've got the world's best goaltender, and we're going to play shutdown defense and put it all on Bob. And it's a massive recipe for disaster. When we play teams like Vancouver, right, we play some of these teams that we should beat, we pull it off. But then when we play a good team, it don't work out so well. So, speaking of good teams, now I know that, what happened to Andy here? Andy's all sad. Fix yourself, Andy. Get yourself back. Right yourself. There we go. Okay, much better. So, speaking of good teams, yes, I know we're 4 points out of the Islanders, the Penguins, whatever it is. They've got some games in hand. It's still, I mean, every time we win a game and they lose a game, we get a little bit closer, but then we lose a game again and it goes back and forth. The schedule is not conducive coming up here to catching up a lot of ground. We'll just go with Monday against Buffalo and then right back on the, Tuesday against Toronto. Both games on the road, and the reason why I bring that up is because somebody said on the stream last night, Spencer Knight was at practice, and they think Knight's going to be back maybe Tuesday. So that's fantastic because the first time he was out for a long time, his first game back was on the road against Boston. And then he was out again for a length of time, and his first game back was on the road against the Rangers. I believe it was the Rangers. And then now he's going to be hurt and out again in his first game back. He's going to be on the road against Toronto. Are you seeing a pattern here? How the hell are you supposed to keep your young goaltender's head upright when that's what you keep doing to him? I kind of thought, I didn't realize Spencer was getting close to ready to come back. I kind of thought with the way that Bob had been, he's been worked. I thought maybe they were going to give Lyon a game Monday afternoon and then put Bob in Tuesday. But But apparently, that's the rumor going around, is that night might be. We got 2 games in a row. You can't throw Bob out there both. So if either Spencer's going to be out there Tuesday, you're going to have to throw Lyon out there. Which it was a shame that Spencer's hurt, because he did not get, or at least they didn't show him, obviously, in the Vamos Gatos jersey, because that would have been a popular seller. I wonder if they gave him one anyway. So in terms of the game, we look like we look. We look like we look. We've seen this music before. The first period wasn't spectacular. We weren't exactly dominating. We weren't exactly getting dominated. It was just kind of like we're there. Second period is where we did our damage. And then the third period, we held on for dear life. And that's pretty much been our formula. We beat the bad teams. And now when we go out there Monday and Tuesday, Buffalo's ahead of us. Buffalo's everybody. I mean, it's just incredible. The teams that we would normally consider, we ain't worried about Buffalo. We ain't worried about Detroit, right? It's now, they're nip and tuck right there with this. And you can forget about the 3 seed. I know somebody last week has said we're only 9 out of Tampa. It's 11 now, and they've got games in hand. And we have a lot of games coming up the second half of the season. Don't look at the teams that we play if you get queasy easy, okay? Because it is just a gauntlet. It's like 5 hard teams and then like 1 easy team. And even the easy teams is like Vancouver is like an easy team, and you see what we had to go through. You saw Bob on the ice last night. He was ecstatic. It was almost like we just won a playoff series. He really wanted that win. So the guys recognize where they are, and sadly, I think exactly what I said last thing, I still hold to that. I think we're going to bounce between 4 points, 6 points, 5 points, 8 points, maybe get to 3 points. We're going to swing around in there. But unless this team gets on a run, I don't see them, creeping up and making the playoffs tonight. And the point there is that I don't see anything on the ice that gives me hope that we're going to get on a run. The only reason this team would get on a run is if we start catching some hockey luck, some puck luck, right? If we get some lucky bounces 3, 4 games in a row, 5 games in a row, we might be able to put a streak together. But in terms of the product on the ice, the style that we play, I don't see how we're going to get on. We haven't won 3 in a row. And somebody asked last night on the stream, I said, do you think we can go the whole season without winning 3 in a row? And I thought about it, we've already done half the season, so we clearly can play 41 games without winning 3 in a row. And I looked at the schedule for the second half, and you see it, right? We played Vancouver, and to win 3 in a row, we got to beat Buffalo and then Toronto, back-to-back on the road. Good luck. So, but we get the 2 points last night. We're still in the conversation, but forgive me if I sound jaded, Panther fans. For those of you who are kind of new from when the team was good, okay? Please forgive me for sounding jaded, because this whole thing where we're 4 points out, but they got 2 games in hand, we did decades of this. So we're a little bit jaded because it never works out. Like the 96 points and didn't get in year. We went on a run of 25-5. I believe that's the run. All right, it was something like that. You guys can look it up, correct me, but basically we went on a run something like 25-5 or 22-3. I mean, it was a ridiculous run, and we still only got 96 points and missed out on the playoffs. So, it's not just as simple as we need to win 3 in a row, 4 in a row, 5 in a row. Other teams have to lose. And when you get games that give out 3 points and head-to-head, it's tough, right? If we're chasing the Rangers and the Islanders, or if we're chasing the Penguins and the Islanders, and they play, and they go to overtime, it's 3 points handed out. So even if we win a game, we're still going to end up losing ground somehow. You see what I'm saying? It's incredibly difficult to come back. It doesn't sound like a big number, 4 points, 6 points. It sounds like we should be able to do this. But the way the point system is laid out, there's a reason why people say if you're out of the playoffs on Thanksgiving, you're usually out. It's incredibly difficult to come back, because usually hockey is not football, okay? Usually when you get a team by midseason, they are what they are. And you don't see a lot of teams like the Islanders right now are right there, and the Penguins are right there. You don't see a lot of teams that are in that 7-8 seed this time of year tank. You don't get a lot of things like in football where the Dolphins lost 5 in a row, where the Jaguars suddenly won 8 in a row. You don't get a lot of that. You get the competition gets tougher, it gets tighter. Get a lot more one-goal games like last night, even against teams that aren't really in the race. And you get a lot of overtime games because teams are like, I'll take the point, right? You get to 8 minutes left in the third period, it's 2-2. If that team that you're playing doesn't affect your playoff, complications, you start playing for the tie. Like, we all get the point, and then we'll see what happens in overtime. So there ends up being more points divided up in the second half of the season. So it's incredibly difficult to come back. So I'm not trying to be negative when we win the game. It's just realistically, us Panther fans, we know this. We've done decades of there's 20 games left and we're 4 points out and there's a game. We've done this over and over and over again, and it ain't never worked out in our favor. So literally never. So all right, but we got 2 points. We won the game. But seriously, I'm over it. I'm over winning one game. When we get to 3, wake me up. Until then, I'm gonna bitch. Because seriously, right? I mean, come on. Now, I know earlier I did do a video where I said if we win 2, lose 1, win 2, lose 1, the rest of the season, I think we actually get to 102 points or something like that. So, I mean, technically, wouldn't that be the Panthers? Wouldn't that be the Panthers to, just never win 3 in a row but somehow still get in? That would be, there's got to be some kind of record for that. All right. Dolphins stream starts at 12:30, then I'm taking a break. Then we've got the second NFL playoff game tonight. We'll be streaming that game. Tomorrow the Panthers play at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't like it. You don't like it. Nobody likes it. But there's like a full slate of NHL games tomorrow because it's Martin Luther King Day, which is okay because I don't have to do my pack and ship and then get ready for a stream. So that stream, we'll be streaming the Panther game tomorrow. And then because it's a holiday, they made NFL Monday Night Football for the playoffs. So we'll be streaming that game, and then we'll be back Tuesday. And then Wednesday I'm going to sleep a lot, definitely. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody that's been coming out to the streams. And make sure you still got a couple of weeks left to use the code FlyingFluffy over at manscaped.com. You get 20% off and free shipping. I know I keep saying I'm going to have a review out of the product. I got condensed. I got busier than I thought I was going to get, which is a good thing. So I'll have that out later in the week. But I will continue to say what I've said, is that I've been trimming for 35 years. And I watched negative reviews of the lawnmower. Okay, I've watched negative reviews, and I'm telling you, it's not accurate. And I know they're a sponsor and everything like that, but you guys know I would tell you the truth. Okay, the best product I've ever used. It was so fast. It was so much easier than a lot of the other products that I've used. And I've used the Walls. I've used Bronze, and they got nothing on the Manscaped trimmer. And really, I'm considering buying a second one for my beard hair because it just cuts so smooth. There's no snags. There's no nothing. But use the guard. Use the guard. All right. That's the last thing I'll say. Use the guard. Okay. Don't be that guy that thinks, let me see if I'm going to test this. The instructions tell you to use the guard. It's for a reason. All right. It's for a reason. It's for a really good reason too that I'm not going to get into detail about. Use the guard. 2 points.